How often do you get to see or hear from your former teammates?
I live with 3 of them.
Yep.
That's awesome. Like that, I think it's really special that our BWB and like our team is just always so close. And like the fact that I'm able to live with 3 of my teammates now is really special to me. And they're also a year younger than me too, which is like, I feel like kind of unheard of that like you'd be so close with people or your teammates younger than you that you'd be able to live with them. But we obviously have like really special friendships, like just from BWB. So that's awesome. And then like the rest of my class I hear from all the time. There's a few of us who are planning to do like a reunion in November.
Exciting.
So we're going to go probably like up here. They'll come up here and come from New York and New Jersey and everywhere. So that'll be something to look forward to, but definitely always keeping contact, you know, social media definitely helps. But
oh yeah, for sure.
Still really close. So
yeah, this is definitely an easy group to stay in touch with for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
How often do you get to see or hear from your former teammates?
How often what did you say? I'm sorry.
How often do you get to see or hear from your former teammates?
I've like one former teammate, you know, she lives out here and we see each other often. And the other folks, like we text, or last year we actually got together in February, like in Boston. I'm like, oh, this is where we're meeting now here? God, it's cold. That's how much we love each other. Those team bonds. But that was fun because we like everybody Facebooks. I'm not really a Facebooker, but we do keep in touch through our little chain. And after all these years, I mean, God, I graduated in '92 and still friends with those women. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's so nice.
Yeah.
How often do you communicate with your prior teammates?
Of course, not as often as I'd like. You know, life unfortunately happens and we're all back spread across the country again. But, you know, I do look forward to the moments that I do either get to see them or we do, you know, we're text or a phone call. It's really special. And I think, you know, much like you are with your teammates, you'll pick right up where you left off and, you know, reminiscing about the old times and all the times that we all say that we wish we could go back, and we would go back in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
So how often do you get to see or hear from your former teammates?
I think it varies. I mean, some of them are still like my best friends, so every day I hear from them. You know, I talk to probably 4 or 5 of them every day, and then, you know, there's some that I'll see a couple times a year and some that I talk to like every other month or so, but we do a pretty good job of keeping in touch, and like social media just makes it so much easier to see people every day and like see what's going on now that we're in the age of like having kids and stuff. So it's nice.
How often do you see or hear from your former teammates?
Sadly, not as often as I'd like.
Yeah.
I did play with Basha quite a few years in an adult rec league before she had her second daughter. Then we all get old and we have kids.
Mm-hmm.
We got Caitlin Malcolm to join one year in the rec league before she moved up to Massachusetts. But it's tough when most people either move back to their home states or stay in Boston or move to new cities after college. But social media does keep us in touch for us old folk with Facebook and just Instagram and that Snapchat or TikTok nonsense. But it's nice to see how people change over the years and the families.
Yeah. What is your best memory with your teammates?
My best one was, I forget the date, I didn't prepare it, but yeah, as I said, for many years, we weren't, they didn't have our records or anything like that and so forth, but a Hall of Fame was established. And so a zillion years after we did it, we got, you can see our picture opposite the elevator on Gosman. Our team was, you know, put into the Hall of Fame, and it made big headlines in the papers around Boston. You know, finally, you know, I mean, I should have been prepared to show you, but finally, you know, we had a chance and everything. So we were there, and you know, we have these rings that we got, and it just it was these were the people I played with, and we were all like out in the field and had children that were grown, and so forth. But they went back to it, and as I said, I fought for it because they weren't putting teams in at the time into the Hall of Fame, and I said they do it at Harvard, they do it at this place. So
Yeah,
I talked them into it. Yeah, so
That's
that was the biggest thing, and they were thrilled, and they made me speak, and they were much better speakers, but it was good.
cool. Wow.
These questions are also tough to answer with just one, because it's like, even like I definitely can think of one, and like just in general, my senior year UAA, we would always go back to our mod. So I lived with 3 other our seniors, and so we would just go back to the mods, and whether it was a win or a loss, unfortunately that year we worked really hard and we had those 6 wins in a row, and we would just go and we'd celebrate together, and it was fun because it's a Sunday, so normal people are not usually celebrating on Sundays, so that's definitely fun. But I mean, it's tough because I'm still making memories with all of them to this day.
Wow, that's awesome. It would definitely also, going back to what you said before, it would definitely be nice to beat Emory on their senior night. That would definitely be a good feeling.
It was fantastic. I recommend, one thing that was really cool my senior year was that, our parents didn't plan this. There were 5 of us seniors, and for every single away trip our senior year, one set of our parents was at the away games. So like most of us were somewhat northeast, so NYU is pretty easy. And like one family would take the Case Carnegie game, or like WashU in Chicago. And so at every away game, we still had a little bit of like home base because one of our sets of parents was there.
Yeah, that is nice.
How often do you get to see or hear from your former teammates?
See is like not that often right now because of COVID, but hear from like every day. We have like a Snapchat group that I think somebody started my sophomore year of college or something like that people like still actively sending Snapchats in on a weekly basis. And then I like always talking to the girls I graduated with that are like, a year plus or minus for me on like quite literally a daily basis. I think that like my teammates from college are still my best friends. And I think that most people would say that who graduated from BWB, so all the time. And I graduated, it was me, Maria, Frankie, and Paris all graduated, and technically me, Paris, and Kyla, as well as Noelle, who graduated the year after me, we all live and work in New York City right now, but like nobody actually lives and works in New York City. But it's awesome that there's like a solid crew of us in New York, or there will be after coronavirus.
That's awesome.
Next question is, how often do you get to see or hear from your former teammates?
Obviously there's a small group of people that are your people that you always stay connected with. I will say, I don't talk to my teammates all the time consistently, but the magical thing about teammates is when I do see them, or we do get together like at the NYU game, which I try to go to every year, it's like no time has passed at all, so that's really special. It's not about staying connected every day, but knowing that we're really connected for life.
Right. That's so interesting to like know that like college is really the one time or place where you stay connected with those groups of people, because I can't even imagine like high school really me staying connected, even though I think I would, but everyone says college is really that's the time when those are the people that you meet that are your forever people. So that's nice.
How often do you like get to see or hear from your former teammates?
Not near. Well, I talk to them a lot, but I don't get to see them near as often as I would like to. I talk to like the girls in my class. Well, most of them. Couple times, like some are a couple times a week, some are a couple times a year. I usually see them, a handful of them, a couple times a year, just because I'm a little bit further away, living in what I will consider the Midwest, whereas a lot of them are still on the East Coast, like within the 4-hour drive between New York and Boston. So not as often as I'd like, but I do talk to them a fair amount.
How often do you get to see or hear from your former teammates?
Pretty often, definitely pretty often. I think now that since I've moved, it's been fewer times, but I would say pretty often, whether it's a FaceTime, a text, a nice Snapchat here and there, maybe an Instagram story reply. I mean, that's like, Instagram was coming out like my grad school year. So like, I don't even know what it's like to be young with it. But I think just kind of being able to have those like ways to keep in touch and just, I don't know, as the years gone on, like you definitely drift from people, but I don't know. I definitely feel as though I keep in touch, I think. I hope. I don't know.
Yeah, I think now that there's like social media, like it's much easier.
Say that again?
I think now with like social media, it's much easier to like stay connected.
Totally.
A little Snapchat.
How often do you get to see or hear from your former teammates?
So my best friend from college was a teammate. She didn't play all 4 years. So we talk on a regular basis. We text all the time. So that's pretty consistent. And then I'm Facebook friends with lots of people. So, every once in a while, someone will reach out and say, hey, how are you doing?
Okay.
But I would say I'm in close contact with one person from the team, on a regular basis.
Okay, that's fair.
How often do you get to see or hear from your former teammates?
So Pam and I see each other. Oh. You want to go?
Yeah, I was just say, Lara and I keep in touch. We have always kept in touch, and we see each other at least twice a year, and our kids have grown up together and good friends. Our husbands are very good friends, and we have, as you can see, we spent some summers together, and Lara and I actually we started both playing hockey after college.
Wow.
And my team was doing a tournament, and I asked Lara to come play with us. So we got to play hockey together after college, which was cool because in college we played soccer, basketball, and softball together. So then to play in a hockey tournament for me, was incredibly special and
That's
fun.
incredible.
Fun.
Yeah, because Lara and I had a real, I don't know if Carol said anything, but we had this real strong chemistry on the team. We always knew where each other were going to be and how we were going to play. We played super similar. We covered for each other really, really well. And, we were just helped each other. Like if my game was off, Lara would be right there, telling me, don't worry about it. And same for her. And if my shot was off, I'd work on rebounding. And if her shot was off, vice versa. So we just really helped each other out a lot.
She did call you guys a dynamic duo when she told me about you both. So
so funny. Yeah, we definitely had this amazing.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't like to play against us.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, definitely. Always knew where each other was going to be. It was amazing. Very special chemistry.
Yeah, one of our teammates called, one of us was McFly and one of us was Velcro, because we love to steal the ball.
That is awesome.
And so last year when my daughter had a lacrosse game, and it was reunion or something at Brandeis, I think 8 of us got together from the basketball team, and oh my gosh, we had so much fun. So I stay in touch with Pam, and then another one, Kara, who is a year below us, and then there are other, I don't know, we have a text thread, and we definitely stay in touch and follow them on Instagram and stuff like that. So
love it.
I know, it's great. It's amazing, and I said before, I can't believe it's been 30 years. I'm sorry I'm dating us, Pam, but so, and it's when we got together last year, it was no one skipped a beat. You know what I mean? It was so much fun. We learned so much, and just bringing up memories. And
that is awesome. How often do you get to see or hear from your former teammates?
So I hear from them quite a bit. The team that I had freshman year, we all have a Snapchat group that is sometimes constant, and sometimes I don't hear from them. And then so that I hear from frequently. And there's a few people that I, you know, text regularly. But the last time I've seen anybody was probably almost a year ago at what's it called? Alumni weekend.
Yeah.
Usually quite a few of us go. But since COVID, I haven't, you know, been to anywhere but Rochester, so.
And that's the problem too. It's not even like you can travel or anything right now. Like it's just.
Yeah. No, it sucks, but luckily I get to see their lovely faces on Snapchat, so.
Perfect.
How often do you get to see or hear from your former teammates? That's a good question. Every day?
Every day we're talking. And I don't see him every day, but I live in Michigan. But I lived there for a little bit. I moved home like 3 years ago. But like I'd say like at least 3 to 4 times a year.
Wow. Well, that makes me excited.
Yeah, all the time. It's always like on the calendar. But like talking, it's like every day.
Yeah, and they're fake because they had a trip and I didn't get invited because of COVID because I was out here in these streets.
Because Angie was in the streets in Nashville acting like there wasn't a pandemic.
Okay, I could have quarantined for 14 days and got tested. Okay, but Nick, I could have chilled out for 14 days, but no.
No.
I'm just saying. They listen.
That is fake. You're right.
That is fake.
I mean, it's not like you're getting caught in the middle of something, Tati. But
I can tell. I can step out if you guys need me to.
No, it's okay. No, we do see each other a lot. We do talk a lot. Yeah, there was a situation over the summer where Angie did not come because Casey didn't let us have so many people at the thing.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense. No, that makes sense. That's fair. Okay.
Take your concerns up with Kim if you want to do that.
Will do.
Yeah, going off that, I guess, how often do you get to see or hear from your former teammates?
Just this one gal, the gal I traveled with in Europe, Karen Jaguar, she has a funny story. She later became a medical doctor. And we lived in Europe for 2 years, and she never thought, she ended up, she kept not making it. You know, she was in Europe, she applied for medical school. No, she finally comes back to the States, and she's at the Mass Eye and Ear Infirmary. This is an interesting story with Brandeis. And she has an interview for Harvard, and she says, oh, I'm gonna apply for Harvard, why not? Give it one last shot. The guy that was interviewing her for Harvard was the guy at Brandeis basketball that gave us our physicals. He was like the medical doctor at Brandeis.
Yeah.
And she says, gosh, I remember you, Karen. Well, guess what? It was the only school she got into, Harvard Med School. Oh. Because of the Brandeis, he was the intern. He gave us our physicals at the time. So that was bizarre. And she later became a medical doctor. She was a hematologist. She had she worked in Chicago, and she had a practice with 5 women. They were all women. So she was cool, and I still keep in touch with her. So that's kind of fun. Our kids are now all getting married, which is we're getting old. So it was one other story I was going to tell you about Brandeis. I forget. Okay. So that's kind of neat.
That's awesome. Yeah.